Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast 8th edition video. This is the third and final video in this format where I talk about some of the starting games of 8th edition, and these were two of the funnest games I've had in a very long time. First, we have the Genestealer Cult, and then we have Sisters of Battle. Stay tuned as we dive in to the Druhkari and things that I've learned in game 6 and 7 of our journey into 8th edition 40k. Okay, so we start our journey. It's we've been playing little games, 1,000-point battles here and there. I've played against Space Wolves, I've played against Blood Angels, I've played against Grey Knights, I've played against Eldar, I've played against a variety. I'm trying to get as many different games against as many different opponents as physically possible. Even the Imperial Guard that gave me a thrashing, the Astra Militarum. But the Druhkari followed their journey this week by playing against two iconic 40k armies. First, we had Adam from Blackfire Productions. Make sure you check them in the links down below. Check him out, give him a sub. He brought his Genestealer Cult. Now, you've seen Adam on the channel before when we did our Shadow War Armageddon special, and he was running his Grey Knights. But his Genestealer Cult were quite an interesting match. So let's dive into some of the pictures as we discuss Genestealers, Broodlords, and even the Goliath Rock Grinder that just happened to surprise myself and even Adam. So Dark Eldar, 1,000 points versus Genestealer Cult, 1,000 points. And we ended up playing, I believe, the Scouring. Adam decided to come. He had a variety of different units. Played our cool little board, lots of different kinds of terrain, and turn one, things got nasty when the Genestealer Cult just jumped, and they essentially all landed really close to me, and just started ripping up my army. My Razorwing and Mandrakes were probably the best units in this game, but I squandered the use of the Scourge, and by turn 3, there was not much left to get the objectives, and that Rock Grinder was just crushing my army. Definitely Razorwing MVP of this game. Wow, that game got heated quickly. Turn 1, things were happening, guys were getting charged and shot. My Talos and Kronos had to hold the line and then got completely murdered. And at the end of the game, it was essentially my Mandrakes kind of holding the line. But I didn't have much left at the end of the game to really do some damage. I kind of misused the Scourge, and my Kabalite warriors were okay, and then the witches just kind of got, didn't do so well. But we see how Genestealer Cult works essentially like a high-pressure turn 1 or turn 2 army. And they're designed to really kind of jump on you and hope to break your back in the beginning of the game. But if you can hold and then counterattack, Genestealer Cult will have trouble having the numbers and toughness to continue sustaining an attrition battle. Now, I'm glad I had the tanks and had most of my guys in tanks, and the use of the Hex rifle was interesting, being able to snipe out some of the characters. But all in all, even though we had to call the game, it was definitely a very entertaining match, and one that I really enjoyed. I cannot wait to play against Genestealer Cult again, and I'm sure Adam has learnt quite a bit from that matchup as well. And then we have Game 7 against a gentleman, Christopher, or Chris, who hasn't played 40k since like 5th edition. He played Eldar, Sisters of Battle, and during 6th edition, the bloated rules and the changes, he's kind of put 40k on the shelf. And this week he returns with the Sisters of Battle in a 1,000-point game against the Druhkari. Iconic, flame, bolter, and holy rituals to take the enemy to the Xenos, destroy them, and purge the unclean, essentially. Yeah, let's dive right into that battle report. This game went really quickly. My witches charged into a wall of flamers and fiery death, and those penitent engines, oh my goodness. Be wary. Be wary of penitent engines and hand flamers. I essentially got tabled by the end of this game. I got absolutely slaughtered that game. I destroyed. I highly underestimated the power of handheld flamers. They murdered my army, and Saint Celestine is a fantastic unit. You know, Christopher had potential 3 acts of faith. You know, on the 2+, he had the one from the army. Celestine allows for a free one, and then he had a magnifier that gave him another one of 4+. So all in all, it was quite an intense little batch. The Reaver jet bike's very interesting. I don't think I need to use a 12-man unit, so I might use a 6-man unit in the future. You know, I was kind of doing some math in my head. But another thing I've come to realize is I have a feeling that the Druhkari, the Dark Eldar, are going to work best when really kind of going on the offensive turn 2 and 3 instead of turn 1. And in every game that I've kind of jumped the gun on like turn 1, unless it's something that I need to because they're in my face, but every game I've jumped the gun on turn 1, I seem to get like I run out of steam around turn 3 and 4. So I think I need to hold back a little bit, then jump on people on turn 2, maybe even 3, when the power from pain is really coming into its fault. All in all, don't underestimate Sisters of Battle. They're a force to be reckoned with, and I cannot wait to try that again. All in all, I hope you enjoyed this little series as we are learning the rules. Make sure you stay tuned on the channel. I have 40k 8th edition battle reports on the way. We have the Tau, and we have Chaos Space Marines as a feature. So stay tuned as this week we gear up to the 8th edition release of Warhammer 40,000 8th edition. And I am Skari the Archon, your host. And if you want to follow, like, share, subscribe in a positive environment, leave a comment down below. You might agree or disagree, but I love to hear your comments, and I usually respond as well. If you want to really support the channel, consider being a patron. Thank you to the brand new patrons. We're almost at our next patron goal. You guys make this possible, allow me to devote time and energy and resources to do what I love, and that is, I cannot repay you enough. Of course, there will be a full tactical series on 8th edition for the Dark Eldar, and I'm pairing up with a few YouTubers to make sure that our coverage is more extensive and in-depth, just for you guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. This is Skari, your grateful host, and until next time, the Dark Kin.